LinkedIn and a few other places. And welcome anyone who's watching. My name is Michelle Oliver. I am your host with Talk About TV. And at Talk About TV, we talk about all things outdoor experiential hospitality. And I'm here today with one of my favorite people because he has the coolest stuff on the planet, Dennis Steinman with Plainscraft Wagons. Welcome, Dennis.
Well, thank you very much, Michelle. It's nice to be here. How are you today?
I'm doing great. It's
Good.
really
Good.
fun to be here. And I think it's super fun to go live with you and just learn a little bit more about who you are and what you do. So I'm going to throw the ball to you and allow you to please introduce yourself and just tell us a little bit about who you are and your company, please.
Okay, I'll try. You stop me if I'm going the wrong direction here. So
I will. I'm going to pull up some pictures so people can see too. So this is a very casual thing, so don't worry. Okay, go ahead.
Well, as Michelle said, I'm Dennis Steinman, and Plainscraft, primarily, at least our flagship product now at the time, is our covered wagons. And these wagons are hospitality. So these covered wagons, we start with a basic wagon, and then we trick them out with all kinds of things, like the pictures you're seeing now are the interior of one of our particular wagons. They vary in floor layout a lot. We change them around inside depending on what our customers want and what their needs are in their park or resort. And we add options to them, like air conditioning, a full bathroom. These are some examples of the floor layouts that we do. So we started in 2018. My wife and I, who are both kind of long-term entrepreneurs, Donna's had various companies, and so have I, and we've done some together. And so we were looking for our next chapter, I guess. This is a picture of me down here at the bottom when I was about 10 years old. I love
this. This is the best.
One with the big glasses, and the neighbor boy was next door sitting with me, and that's my little sister. And so my dad built this wagon, and we drove it to the county fair. And anyway, so I've always had kind of a passion for. I grew up in the country, horses, all that, and I've had a kind of a passion for that kind of thing. And also, I've always been amazed at the grit and the stick-to-itiveness and the way those people cross this country in these wagons, and it's always been kind of fascinating to me. So anyway, we were looking for something else to do. We discovered this glamping market and how it was growing and what was going on. And I had a company for a lot of years. I was involved with the electronics industry. We manufactured printed circuit boards for all kinds of different electronics companies, and that all went offshore. And so it became very difficult to make money, take the fun out of it. It wasn't any fun anymore. So we were looking for something that would be successful. We could be successful at, of course, but was kind of fun. So the glamping, this whole outdoor hospitality, there's a lot of people that are engaged in it, are really engaged, and it's exciting. So it's fun. And then our people that are here in our company, it's fun for them because they're creating something that's unusual and that brings a lot of joy to people as they use them. It brings good return for our customers. And so, it's just a different thing than what I was used to in the past. And so we sell to various resorts and parks and various things. We now have wagons all over the country. We have some in Canada now. And so we make a very high quality product that's beautiful, that's unusual, that people really are in awe when they see the wagons, when they walk in them. We say they're Instagrammable because,
absolutely.
And so it's just kind of a fun industry. And so we are growing, and we always invite people to come see us. We have a wagon set up here in a nice area in the country that people can stay in if they want to check them out. And so Donna, my wife, is involved here. We're here every day, kind of thing. We're growing our team, developing a team, so we can grow this in the market and in this industry. So that's kind of a long-winded.
Oh no, it was absolutely perfect. And the wagons are too. Like, I just love everything that you're doing. I have been inside of these. It's unreal, right? You look at them on the outside, like anyone that's been in your wagons. First of all, they command the environment, right? And they're usually at a resort where they just enhance whatever's going on there. So you can see them from a distance and you're just mesmerized. You're like, what is that? And then you go into them expecting, I don't know. I don't know what I was expecting, but not what I saw. It's beautiful and just well appointed. And then the bathrooms, which everyone, I mean, you would think, is there going to be a bathroom in there? And then it's extraordinary. So, and it's remarkable how much you can fit and all the different models that you can fit in these. So they're beautiful, they're well appointed, they're very well made. And what I love, I can't say most, but what I also love is just the story behind it. So the fact, like, that picture of you is so great. And there's this beautiful story, and every wagon like that tells a story. So kids and families, they get to live a story, right? When you walk inside and you're in your imagination. And so yeah, so I guess what I am thinking of, as you know, like Expitality, we work with these different clients who are building glamping and RV resorts and all of these mixed asset outdoor experiential hospitality businesses. And I currently have a client who just purchased some property in Wyoming, and there's actually a really cool structure already on that. And then they have almost everyone who is looking for this is looking for like the area to expand, right? So there's often a phasing process involved where, okay, we're going to start with this, and maybe it's building, or maybe it's an existing structure or RV resort or whatever. And what else can we do with it? Like, what can we do to enhance our revenue? Well, what would that be? More accommodations, right? So the next question is, how do we do that? And the answer is, there are creative options now. And is there a more creative option than a covered wagon where you can not only stay, but you have a bathroom in there too, which is kind of amazing. So this particular gentleman is going to, he's got to prove out his concept first. So he just closed on this property. And then he's interested in starting like only with 3 wagons that then grows to 6. And then what are we going to do on the back end, you know? So when there's someone like that, how do you advise them as to if their property might be a good candidate for doing these additions, and how they could maybe phase that in? And then the third question is, what do they need in order to bring a wagon on? Is it a really expensive, crazy ordeal? How do you do that? Throwing a lot at you, Dennis. But
that's a lot of good questions. Well, all the things we talked about just a few minutes ago, are cool, and we have a neat little company going and good product and all that. But when it gets right down to it, it's like, what can we do, and how can this product help our customers make money?
Right.
And make money, but yet do it in a way that they enjoy, and that makes sense for their business. That's what's important. So the return, you can say everything gets down to return. We know that there's other things, but you got to make a good return, and you've got to do that to make the whole thing work. Not only the wagons, but the business in general. So, I think the various structures that are out there, they all have their place, and I think that sometimes a mixture is a good thing. We have customers that only have wagons, and then the majority of them have other structures as well. So, I would think we also have customers that have the wagons not only for this purpose, but they create a draw. I mean, an amazing tree house, 30 foot in a giant mighty oak.
Yeah.
And so will the wagons. It's a draw. It's something different. And the wagons, everybody stayed in a cabin. The cabin, not to put down cabins, but a lot of this stuff is becoming a little bit old hat. There was some information shared at the glamping show by Sage, which is a company that does some research along with KOA, that the wagons are a very small portion of the number of structures that are out there because we're pretty new. And also they're one of the fastest growing in popularity, and they're real high on the list of the average nightly rate for the wagons. So if somebody was interested in wagons and really looking at it, I would say that also we see, and back up a little bit, we see data constantly that shows that bathrooms generate more return, and they have a higher average daily rate, and it's fairly significant.
Yep.
Now there is some infrastructure required. These hook up much like an RV would. They'll hook up to electricity, water, and sewer. So there's that has to be put in. But other than that, once that infrastructure is there, these wagons come in on a truck. They're unloaded off the truck in a matter of 5 to 8 hours, depending on how many times you've set them up before. They're set up, plugged in, and you're in business. So we try sometimes. Well, we try to help people. We send photographs and all that kind of stuff in advance so they can start their marketing. And then, with the goal that when that wagon hits the ground, they have somebody paying money to stay in it. So it can be quick, and that's a good advantage over some of the other structures. The other thing is, I think the length of your season sometimes becomes a real question. How many days a year can I rent this structure? And that all depends a lot on the weather. How long can my season be? How long can I rent this out? One of the things that we've done is work real hard to make these wagons comfortable in cold and in hot weather. So we've developed an insulated cover that really is, really working well. And we have the heat and air system in it that you can stay in these wagons from 10 degrees to 110 degrees, and they're comfortable. So no matter what structure you look at, I think that's real important, because if you can stretch your season a month on each end, because of, or more, but just look at it, even a month, that can be huge. So that's a real important thing to look at, I think.
Oh my goodness, I'm so glad you mentioned that. That is tremendous. I mean, we're talking about another month worth of revenue. And the thing is, like, you don't realize, just like when you go camping or you go do anything, like, I don't know if any of you remember the olden days where we went actually camping in these kind of tents that were different than they are today. And then the reality of camping hits you in the face, right? That's why glamping and all of this is so appealing. But it is really true with those wagons. Like, I was amazed that there's air conditioning, and I didn't know about the insulated cover. That is really powerful, and heat. And you know what I think too, because I'm always thinking from the experience side of things. Like, even if it's at an RV resort and you have the ideal RV and you've been with the kids or whatever, and you come to a place where there are wagons, imagine someone not only paying to stay there with their big RV, but the kids want to go spend a night in the wagon, of course. So look at the additional revenue that is coming from that, and you can market that. You can start marketing and building up the hype of what you're doing, like Dennis said, long before that wagon ever shows up. And it's not that big of a deal to create the space that you can put the wagons on. It's not expensive either. So there's so many advantages, and you're unique, you're fun, it's playful, it becomes part of the story of wherever, your brand as a business. There's no negatives in this at all, because you solve the weather. When you
Another
solve
thing,
the weather, you're
yeah,
pretty much in control there. Yeah.
yeah, exactly. Another thing with there's so much activity in this industry, and
Yeah.
people developing their parks or whatever. One thing that's really good about these wagons is you can move them. You know, you can
Yes.
start out, I want it over there. No, I decided next year I think that's better over there. Oh, I just bought another property. I'm going to move this 100
Wow.
miles away. That's can be a big asset. So, um, and then the furniture in them, we put furniture in these, and it's movable. It can be changed. So, um, another thing I think somebody needs to consider is what's their customer going to be like? Are they couples? Are they families? How's this going to go? Like you mentioned, are they in a park where we're going to get the kids, a spin off from the rest of it? So these wagons can be laid out anyway inside, and they can be changed. So if your clientele changes a little bit, you can just change the inside. You can go to, instead of a king bed with for a couple and a nice buffet and that kind of thing, you can put 2 double bunk beds and a queen, and change it overnight. So I think all those things.
Incredible. Yeah, it's so
they're-
great. It's flexible and
yeah.
fluid. It can kind of grow as your business grows.
Yeah.
And I know that I had asked you early on, because I remember thinking, wow, you're going to have to be like a really big established place with lots of money to do this. And Dennis is like, no, start with 1 or start with 3. I would never encourage someone to start with 1, probably, because it's more like, let's have a little area, right? So 3 or 6, but it's so remarkable that you can just enter into this. It's almost like you can test it out. Like, start with 3 wagons and see how it goes, and what's working and what's not working. And then I'm sure, will work with them to help them understand, like, what is the best, what do you call it? The design, who are your customers? And if it's not working, we'll help you figure it out. So, it's incredible that we have these opportunities. I mean, imagine if you had to build it. Like, okay, now we have to go build our cabin, and if only it could look like a, like a covered wagon or whatever. So it's an incredible service that you are offering, and fun, and it just enhances any property. It's incredible.
Well,
Tell I'm a fan. I'm
yeah,
a big
we're real
fan
proud
of
of
these.
them.
Yeah.
We're real proud of them, and we've got a lot of really happy customers. I think we're blessed with that, and we're a service oriented group here. We're not high pressure, and we want our customers to get something that's going to work for them. If it works for them, they're going to tell someone else, and then it just works well for everybody. So we like to do things in an honest way and try to do the right thing, and that's how I think a business should be. So, but anyway, so it's a lot of fun, and we're growing, and if anyone would like to ask questions, just talk and chat about it, be sure and do that. I'd be more than happy to talk and go from there.
That sounds great. I will add your contact information into the description a little bit later today, and the link to the website, so people can go look at. And there's nothing better than working with a business who comes from just really, I mean, look at your background. And I think it's so interesting how those parts of us that are just kind of who we are, you grew up, like, the fact that you have that picture is just delightful and enchanting. And then the values that you admire, and that were always mesmerizing you from a child, like the grit and the stories that come out of that. And now you're actually living that and passing that opportunity on to other people, and yet still showing up like with this vision and the values to serve. So I think that's a huge part of why I know that Randy and I, through Expitality, are just tremendous supporters of you for all of these reasons and the quality that comes out of that. So thank you so much for being in my world. I sure appreciate it. And anybody that wants to talk to Dennis, he just basically you can email him or call him up, and he usually picks up, right?
Try to, yeah.
Yeah, he's there. So thank you so much for your time, and I look forward to talking to you again really soon.
Okay, Michelle, thank you very much for
Thank you,
having me.
Dennis.
You take care.
You
All
too.
right.
Have a wonderful day. Bye.